If you are a medical student or a doctor, there are a few more things which I wish to discuss with you in addition to what we discussed in the previous presentation. Mainly I want to say that I believe as doctors, we are in a very empowered position to spread awareness about these addictive substances. One, because we have ourselves witnessed the pain and the suffering, and therefore can very easily convey that to them. Secondly, we have access to studies which we can quote. Thirdly, we enjoy a lot of authority in the society, whether true or false, but people believe that we are wise men and give a lot of value to what we say. They are willing to listen to us. Anything coming from our mouth has a much deeper impact coming from any other mouth. So let us use that authority which society invests in us. And the good part is we can do it as a part of our profession itself. So few very easy ways in which we can do it are: one, spending 1 minute with each patient discussing this. So anyways we ask everybody, do you drink, do you smoke? So if they say no, then we can say, wow, nowadays it's becoming so common and yet you don't do it. That's wonderful. Just quote 1 or 2 studies and say, cool, no matter how much your friends food, don't take it. You have made a smart choice. 1 minute. If that person says yes, but occasionally in parties or something like that, you can say, it's your life, it's your choice. But as a doctor, this is what I have seen, this is what I have read. So what I will recommend is the best thing you can do for your and your family's health is quit this addictive poison today. Just 1 or 2 minutes. We don't have to give the whole lecture to everyone. What matters is what this doctor's opinion is, because our opinion carries weight. So I have talked to around 4,000 medical students till now. Even if 1,000 of us start seeing even 10 patients a day, start spending 1 minute with each patient, that would come to 1 lakh messages a day from a doctor they respect that this is an unhealthy thing to do. So I alone working on it will not change anything, agreed. But collectively, we can definitely change the peer pressure and the social acceptance in the society around us. I believe it's a serious enough issue, and so I'm giving my time. If you also believe, I would encourage you to do that. Second is we can keep posters in our waiting room so that for the long hours they are sitting there, they can go through it. We can distribute pamphlets, which is a summary of what we say. Fourthly, something called as brief intervention. Brief intervention is what doctors other than psychiatrists do. People in general practice, primary care physicians, nurses, etc. What is it? Before an alcohol dependent person finally goes to a de-addiction center or a psychiatrist for treatment, it is seen that he would have gone at least 5 to 10 times to general practitioners for complaints induced by alcohol, like acidity, burning in hands and legs, etc. At any of these points, if that doctor would have spent 5 minutes in counseling the person briefly about why it is important to quit alcohol, then there is a higher probability that he would have quit. Why does it work? Because like any other disease, if you intervene at an earlier stage, chances of success is higher. At an earlier stage, it is easier for people to quit. Also, people have a lot of faith in their family doctor or the routine doctor whom they are regularly seeing. So with your authority and the faith they have in you, when you strongly suggest, the impact is higher. Also, while they are already suffering, they are in a very sensitive state of mind, and in that sensitive state of mind, if you connect that the current trouble we are facing is because of this substance, alcohol or tobacco or whatever, and then it's very important to stop this if you want to get out of this trouble, then that really sinks in them and it works. So you can try 2-3 times, and if it still is not happening, then you can refer to a psychiatrist. Also, at the first instance itself, if you feel that he has full-blown addiction, then you can initially itself refer to a psychiatrist or de-addiction center or Alcoholic Anonymous, etc. Some doctors have a fear that if I discuss this issue with patients, then they will not come back to me. So please don't have this fear. If you criticize them, then yes, probably they will not come back. But so far as you talk with respect, as we have discussed in the previous video, then they won't mind it. They will, in fact, they would know that this doctor really cares for me, and they may or may not quit, but they will keep coming back to you. And out of 10, even if you succeed in helping one person quit, or you refer them to someone and he quits, then life is going to change for that family and they will worship you like God. So please don't hesitate. You guys, general practitioners, probably have a bigger role to play in the field of substance abuse compared to psychiatrists. Consider that. How to do brief intervention is beyond the scope of this video. I would say WHO has published a manual on brief intervention on their website, which you can download. Another thing which would be very helpful is to read on motivational interviewing. There are also videos on internet which show how motivational interviewing is done. Motivational interviewing means when the other person is in denial or is resisting a change in behavior. The change in behavior can be starting to exercise or stopping addictive substance, whatever. How to talk so that he doesn't resist your talk, and the probability is higher that he will accept that behavioral change. So it's a skill which has to be developed with practice. And most of us, the routine way that we motivate people is a wrong way to motivate. So I would encourage you all to please read more on motivational interviewing. In addition, I was just thinking I will like to discuss a few tips on what we can tell them on how to quit. This is not a comprehensive or a theoretically very sound way of putting things, but just briefly some practical tips. Firstly, you can go through the previous video on how to motivate people without hurting their feelings. Secondly, the deal is not फिर से दारू पिया तो मुंह दिखाना मत. So he will keep drinking and not show his face, big deal. The deal has to be keep coming back till you quit. So if you have successfully stopped, come back, we will celebrate together. If you wanted to stop but somehow failed and started drinking, come back, we will sit together and analyze why mistake happened, learn from that mistake and not repeat it. So far as you keep coming back and keep learning from mistake each time, we are bound to succeed today or tomorrow. So the deal is that, keep coming back. We have to be repeated and patient with them. They will lose hope. We have to give that hope to them, it is possible. To give you an example, there was a patient of depression and I understood that her depression was because of her husband's drinking. So I motivated him to stop. On second visit, I asked them what happened, and the wife said that he started to drink in the train itself. And when the wife told him that doctor has asked you to stop, so he told the wife, doctor has asked to try to stop, he has not asked to stop. That kind of resistance. So again briefly told something, and the third visit he had stopped. I was surprised. I asked, what made you stop? So he says, मैंने सोचा भगवान ने किसी को छुड़वाने भेजा है, फिर से भेजेगा कि नहीं पता नहीं, तो चलो छोड़ डालते हैं. He was just looking for an excuse to quit. And I and you can be that excuse. We just have to be patient and believe in that person's goodness and ability to quit. Another thing would be, do not force it on him. Because if we are forcing it on him, probably in front of us he will say, yeah, I will stop. But behind us he will again start. So there is a concept called ambivalence, which means there are two things going in his mind. I want to stop, I don't want to stop. And it is because I like it, but there are harms also, but I like it also. So we have to give him sufficient time to process this ambivalence. In other words, the more he thinks about it in detail and understands that this is doing me more harm than good, higher the probability that he will stop. And if you are aggressive, then he will not do this processing, he will be on the defensive. The more you tell, okay, it is your right to choose whether you want to stop or not. Just listen to what I have to say with open mind. Higher probability he will openly do this analytical thinking. So what we typically say is, we give him the right to choose as well as we place the responsibility of his life on him. That it is your responsibility to make your life succeed. So one way to help them process it is, you can ask them to make a documentation of, if he quits alcohol, what will be the advantages in his life, what will be the disadvantages in his life. If he does not quit alcohol, what will be the advantages of that, what will be the disadvantages of that. One way of saying it is, imagine your life 5 years from now. If you have stopped, in the next 5 years how your life will be. If you don't stop, in the next 5 years how your life will be. So making them reflect over such things helps them process it. Another thing is a reminder card. So most of them want to quit, but when that craving starts, their brain is not able to function. So at that time, if there is something which can help them remember why they wanted to stop, then probably they will be able to control that craving. So either they can pick up their phone and call someone who is willing to support them through the process, and that person will remind him why he wanted to stop. The other way is, when he is calm, he can jot down which are his important reasons why he wants to quit, and keep that reminder card or paper in his wallet. And when that craving comes, to take out that paper and read. That helps bring that perspective faster. Similarly, having a coping mechanism is very important. Supposingly the person sees an ad or sees a bar and he gets that craving and he doesn't know what to do, then he becomes very anxious. But if we have already decided, okay, next time when you get craving, what will you do? Example, call up someone or just start walking to your home, or what self-talk to do or whatever. Then he will feel confident. Okay, craving has come and I know how I am going to deal with it. Okay, so you can read up on craving management skills for further details. Another thing would be a concept called surfing the wave. So you have to tell them that your dealing with the craving is not a very long process. You see something and suddenly the craving comes like a wave. But just as it suddenly comes, it suddenly goes away too. And all you have to do is, for that 5, 10, 15 minutes that the wave is there, just for that duration, control yourself. Just observe how it is happening. And what you can do is, for those 15, 20 minutes, distract yourself in some way. Some people choose to distract by keeping something in the mouth, groundnuts or lavang or something. Some people find drinking water to be of great help. Some people like to talk to friends. Some people like to see films, eat something they like, whatever. They can choose their own distraction techniques for those 15-20 minutes. One another very important practical tip is to change the friend circle. They don't like to do that, but invariably the most common reason why people relapse is pressurization from the friends. Because most people are not happy to allow their friends to quit. Probably because that increases their sense of guilt. कि भाई he has become good and I am still trapped. So दोस्त के खातिर नहीं क्या, अपन पिलाता है बस क्या, all that kind of pressurizing goes on. And most people do succumb to that. So what we have to tell them is, okay, you go and tell your friends, okay, this is something very harmful for me and I wish to stop. Please help me in stopping it. If those friends help him and in front of him don't drink or don't encourage him to drink, wonderful. Those are helpful friends and he can continue to be with them. But even after expressing his wish to quit, if the friends continue to pressurize him to drink, then that is a friend circle which he has to change if he wishes to quit. Another important effective way of motivating people, especially those from the lower socio-economic strata, is to make them calculate how much money they have lost on alcohol till now. At times the money will come as big as 6 lakhs, 10 lakhs, and that really gives them a shock. Even in cases of tobacco, at times it comes to 1 to 2 lakhs. And it really gives them a shock. Okay, I have spent so much on it till now, and that helps them to build that motivation to quit. Another effective way would be, it's very easy to listen, but to speak on something is more difficult, because while you are speaking, you have to process it in your head. So encouraging them to share their experience with one youngster a day and motivating that youngster कि भाई देखो मैंने इसको हाथ लगाया, मैं फंस गया, तुम शुरू मत करना. I am trying to quit. If you don't want to fall in that trap, you don't start. So in this process, whether that youngster gets convinced or not, every time he does that, his mind will get more and more convinced about why this is harmful. And this helps in relapse prevention also. So if he continues to do that, even after he has stopped, then his mind will also always remain grounded as to what the truth is, whether this substance brings more joy or more pain. In fact, this is the very mechanism based on which Alcoholic Anonymous works. Those people come and keep sharing their experiences with each other, and that keeps in their mind fresh that what pain they had to undergo because of using alcohol. Okay. Another way would be to accept a new hobby or a new goal for life. So quitting a substance requires a lot of motivation, and that can come if there is a goal to pursue. To give you a quick example, as simple as a person wanted to visit his son in the US, and for that he had to quit the opioid addiction which he had. So because he wanted to go there without any medicines, for 1 month he was able to quit. He went there, lived there for 4 months, came back and again started it. But the point is, so far as there is a goal in front of my eyes, I can have a motivation. अगर फिलहाल दिमाग पे दारू की पकड़ है, then we have to replace something, so that now the mind gets fond of this thing and it no longer requires that. So if the person takes up some music, sports, any hobby or a goal for his life, कि मुझे इस particular NGO में काम करना है या particular issue पे काम करना है, या मुझे अल्कोहल और टोबैको में और बच्चे ना फंसे इस पे काम करना है, whatever. Then when they start investing their energies in that and they start getting satisfaction from that, then they no longer feel the need for those cheaper pleasures in life. Lastly, it's important for us to tell them to live a balanced life. If they are all the time just working and not giving any attention to their recreation, then after a work day of 18 hours they are bound to feel कि इतना मेहनत करने के बाद एक ड्रिंक तो बनता है. Let the mind not reach that state of frustration. If the life is well balanced and if there is a good deal of recreation and entertainment, then the mind will no longer feel the need for that high. So that is what we call as positive addictions. So we should consciously encourage them to develop some creative and constructive recreations in their life. In this video I am not going to talk of medications much, you can read them. I will just briefly say that for managing alcohol withdrawal, a brief course of around 5 days to 7 days of benzodiazepines is effective to decrease the severity of the withdrawal symptom. It helps many. You can read about it. And regarding tobacco, nicotine gums are available over the counter. So I will explain the particular technique which you have to explain to people. Tobacco has thousands of chemicals. One of them is nicotine. And apparently nicotine is the most addictive one, but relatively less harmful compared to the other toxic chemicals which are there in tobacco. So by nicotine gums, what we intend is, we are replacing tobacco addiction with a lesser harmful addiction of nicotine. So we first replace tobacco with nicotine addiction, and after a period of 1, 2 or 3 months, gradually the person starts trying to quit that nicotine addiction also. How to use those gums? One, the gums come in 2 or 4 milligrams. You can generally start with 2 milligrams. The method is called as chew and park. The juice of that chewing gum is not supposed to be swallowed. If they swallow it, they will get pain and acidity. What you have to tell them is just chew it once or twice or thrice till the taste starts coming. Once it starts coming, like they put tobacco between their gums and the cheek, they have to put that gum over here and let that juice get slowly absorbed sublingually. Once that taste stops, again they are supposed to chew. Again, when the taste starts coming, park it. So like this, one gum can go for even half an hour. Now of course, it's not necessary. First, the person can try to stop without nicotine gums. If he is not able to do that, then you can offer him this option. There is also an option of bupropion and varenicline, which you can read about. And lastly, for those who would like to work still further, can give awareness talks in schools and colleges like I am doing. Trust me, it's an immensely satisfying experience to know that a lot of youngsters are not gonna fall in this trap because of me. At their critical age in life, they will know which is the path of happiness and which is the path of sorrow. For those medical students or faculties who are associated with medical colleges, you can also consider doing it in your own ward side rooms. So it has a lot of advantages in terms of that you don't have to go anywhere to organize it. It saves a lot of time. After your routine day at 4:35, you can have it in your side room. The relatives, the patients, the youngsters who are there in the ward, either they are patients themselves or they are relatives, and so they are in a very sensitive state because someone is suffering. Thirdly, you can take examples of patients suffering from the ward itself and tell how these substances have harmed them. And lastly, in your medical college, you are in a position of authority. And so there's a lot of weightage to what you say. And lastly, in a medical college, just imagine, people from so many surrounding villages or areas are coming to an apex place, and people from so many different areas will go back with a message that doctor in that big hospital told us that this is a very bad thing. So I think that's a very effective way of intervening for those of you who would wish to consider that. Some people have a doubt, youngsters don't like to listen to such things. I have made, as I said, more than 200 presentations, and the response of youngsters has been over-enthusiastic. In fact, they have been telling me, go to all the schools, all the colleges and tell people. So my experience is, so far as we try to make it slightly interesting and give a lot of examples, they are more than happy to listen to this thing. And lastly, as medicos, I want to stress, it's really important that we lead by example. Because youngsters may or may not believe what we say, but they are definitely absorbing what they are seeing us do. The most common argument we hear is कि अगर इतना ही बुरा है तो डॉक्टर्स क्यों ड्रिंक करते हैं. So the society is giving us a lot of respect, and along with that comes a lot of responsibility. All of us have a lot of power to influence the society around us. So others might just say कि हम क्या कर सकते हैं, probably true, but we cannot give that excuse because there is a lot we can do. Let us use our power to bring about a difference. Of course, we can quit ourselves, and even collectively, just imagine if a particular medical association of a place issues a newspaper statement that because alcohol is causing so much health and social damage in the society, we have decided to ban it in our conferences. That won't happen easily. But imagine if it happens, then what a blow it will be to the normalization of alcohol which the industry is trying to do. And there are examples. For example, IMA Mangalore has banned alcohol in its conferences. It can happen. All of us have to make a choice. What are our associations for? Are they meant so that MRs can come and bribe us into dining and wining? Or have we come together and formed associations to make a difference? If we feel we are united to make a difference, and if we feel that alcohol is a very serious epidemic threatening our society, then I think it would be great if more and more medical associations take a strong stand on that and start issuing public statements on this issue. And we have already seen this work for tobacco. 30 years back, tobacco was a cool thing, but then the medical fraternity took a strong stand against tobacco, and today the society accepts it to be bad. The same thing can happen against alcohol also, provided we take up the issue. So let me end with the lines, individually I might be insignificant and powerless, but collectively we all hold the power to change the course of history. So it was a long video. Thank you for listening till the end. Jai Hind.